And they're going to have an early advantage as well. Knife round 1, so that's them picking the side. And getting themselves sorted into the second map.
Try and do what they can, yeah. And the main reason I asked, to be honest, is, you know, from the UK Masters and from a couple of UK events, it seems like the UK-based teams, it's much the same way. It can go one of two ways. It's not the way that Train used to be way back in the day, when it was heavily CT-sided for the most part. And, you know, we're seeing it go in both directions. I think we could potentially see the same thing again. For the working men, if they aren't that comfortable on Train, then you could maybe suggest that being on T-side first might actually be a good thing for them. If they can get a bit of a run going, they might be able to put together 6, 7, 8 rounds on T-side potentially.
Yeah, I mean, it's another thing similar to the custom maps, Cobblestone Overpass, anything like that that's vaguely new. Obviously not too new at the moment, but still, like, early compared to things like Dust and Inferno. Sadly not there anymore, Mirage, things like that, because the meta shifts, you know? It's not a decided map yet. There are always new developments coming through, and that's always interesting to see, so not sure we're going to be seeing any groundbreaking stuff here today. But there's always that possibility, and hopefully we can at least see a good game out of it. And it's going to be started off by FM in this round. Fry picks up one. Huds is going to be coming in and finding himself at least one more. Looking for the second and going to be able to pick that one up as well. So definitely looking to be a much stronger performance on this map. I think we are going to be seeing the working men get that bomb down. But they're going to be faced with flight CTs, angry from the last game, just rushing at them, seeing what they can do, trying to pick those frags up.
And Stanley's in a great position to get both of them, but it's only Chak that actually is caught as Fry picks up his, I think that was his second, yeah it was. The first one to kick things off, a very crisp one shot from out towards side with about 3-4 players rushing towards him, and that got things up and running. So nice side stuff from FM early on. You know, they got, well, they gave away that plant, and the working men maybe going to be looking to force onto their third round. I think for FM, the biggest thing that you can lose out on is your A main hold. It's one area where, even though there's a lot more cover in it now than there perhaps used to be back in the day, now that's one area where you can really get exposed if you haven't got control there, and if you let the terrorists get their players in there, and you see they're trying to get bodies in there straight away, but Vertigo is the only one able to get any success against the weapons. Hutch is now coming towards back of bomb train. Som gets one, Hutch gets one as well, and it is going to be the second round to FM eSports without taking too much damage.
Oh, I mean, that round, I think we were always expecting to be a blowout. It was just the working men buying up maybe some P250s, saving for this round as the main one. And actually still going to be a little bit under-equipped. You can see Jacob forgoing the AK in favor of a little bit of utility, so they can get these smokes out. And I'm wondering what the plan is with them. At the moment, still looks like it's going to be fast out of main. You were talking about the control there. And it's just not quite a king for FM at the moment. They're going to be getting taken down early on, seeing what they can do, and there's the utility to block off the train as well. So not the set smokes, but definitely a lot of control established. We're going to be seeing Fry, though, jumping up over the smokes, seeing what he can get done, and at least finding one for his team to get back. Stanley coming in with a second. And suddenly it's a 3 versus 3, but it is now FM on the offensive, seeing if they can get that bomb defused. And it looks like a little bit of a stalemate right now.
It does, and they're trading back. Fry, his position's been called probably about a minute ago there or thereabouts, but he's already picked up another couple of frags, and that's his third. Robin's caught over towards Pop Dog, and it is going to be an FM round, but you know, another plant for the working men. For FM, a little bit of a tough retake, and I think an opportunity lost for the working men. If they could have picked up Fry a little bit earlier, knowing exactly where he was, then it could have opened up an extra angle into the site. But now FM have held the 3, and it's now going to be down to see what this effectively a talented mixed team from the working men can put together for us.
Well, I'll tell you something, they can't put together this round at least, a full buy. We're going to be seeing a couple of AKs, but supported by Galil and 2 Tech 9s. A lot more utility than we had in the last round, so maybe that's going to be a help, but the firepower is just not quite there. FM, on the other hand, they have everything they could possibly want, and Neil's going to be putting it into effect early on. He has the angle with the AWP, but doesn't quite find the shot. I think just whiffing there as he sits down. Going to be unfortunate for him and going to mean that they miss out on a frag, but do gain a decent amount of information. The 2 players on the B site are going to be aware that there are men coming in for them, and Stanley puts himself in the perfect position to deal with at least one. Chak already down. Robin knows seeing what he can do back, and actually he's going to be falling as well. So the working men bleeding players across the map at the moment. That's the that's the Galil and one of their Tech 9s down. A lot of utility missing as well. It's going to be tough to get a push out now, 3 versus 5.
And sure is. Jacob's maybe going to get some opportunities, but he's looked away with 2 players around him very quickly. And Som, he's going to be there to cover. Vertigo goes down. Cryptic's going to walk into the same kill shoot potentially, and he does step back, but he's in a bit of trouble. Jacob now walking from behind, might have the chance to make a play on a couple, but he only gets the one. He's got CTs all around him, and they were able to trade him off. Cryptic's already looking behind. He knows that he's got action above him. Stanley might be coming in, but it's an opportunity now for someone to push from inside, from the main, if they want to. And instead, it's Stanley who jumps. Perfect work there. Cryptic's just knew he was screwed, and it's just a case of where it was going to come from and at what timing. And it ends up being 4 very comfortable rounds for FM eSports. So, all in all, this is starting in a similar vein to the way the first map did. The working men get onto their favoured map and start to put together a very early advantage on it.
Yeah, FM looking to build something huge here. It's looking like, well, 4 rounds already, looking like it's about to be 5, unless we can see the working men pull off something great here, and Jacob is going to be starting off in the right way. Finds himself one, but Fry going to be responding straight back on before he's taken down quickly as well. The advantage actually now gains the terrorist side, and they're just going to be seeing what more they can do. The bomb in a great position to be planted here, but instead, Jack, seeing what he can do with the Deagle instead, finally decides he's going to be putting it down, and that is almost guaranteed at this point. Now it's just whether the retake is going to be coming in and how effective it is. Using a molly to flush the man out of connector, but not really finding too much success from it, as Stanley's going to be jumping onto the bomb train, finding himself Jack, and putting his team at a great advantage. Hudge G also chipping in now, and it's just Robin left in a 1 versus 3. Again, a situation where I think he realizes he's not going to win, but wants a little bit more damage. Unfortunately, that's not going to be accomplishable either, so FM managed to find themselves a 5th. And as you said, it's looking similar to what we saw in Cobble. It's looking like it's going to be a dominant first half from FM, unless the working men can come back into it soon, and this is going to be one of the few chances they get.
Yeah, it is, and let's see what they can do with it. Double AWP setup lockdown from FM, or maybe not, as the case may be. We'll have to see how that pans out, but it's pretty much, you'd expect, going to be 1 AWP out in the direction of the B side. You can pretty much play it with a solo AWPer for the most part, as long as the rotate is quick to come in. And said Neil's going to be floating around from the connector. Now that connector position, not as key as it used to be way back, when you can have an AWPer in there and you have an AWP versus AWP battle on the T side. A little tough for that to happen, and actually the T player has got a very little angle to actually make a pick from their AWP early on. They've got that long corridor, from a very slight angle, and that's pretty much it, unless they want to completely go and enter into main. So you don't see a whole lot of AWP versus AWP battles during the very early stages. That tends to more come in later, perhaps towards working to a B or holding down a site once you got control of it. So we'll see how that starts to develop with Vertigo, who's going to be picking that up as his favoured weapon for quite a lot of this match, you would expect. 50 seconds left to go on the clock then, into the 6th round of this second map, which is train. So let's see what the plan is going to be from the working men. Still haven't committed really to any particular site, just spreading out, maybe looking for a push to come in, and maybe trying to work a pick from somewhere. And I think they are now going to be thinking about where they want to work it. This could be a B fake coming in, so they drop into pop. And yeah, it looks like we've got a bit of action A coming up.
They're going to be pushing out now. Flashes and smoke through, but it's all going to be good initially as Som manages to find himself 3 quickly. Cryptic on the response takes 2 of his own, but it's going to be the disadvantage right up until Robin manages to pick up Fry and leaves it in a 2 versus 2. Another even situation that FM are going to be forced to retake from. And that was a little bit close for comfort for me. That was a bomb plant at the last possible second. 10 seconds left on the clock as that went down, but it's going to be working for them initially. Cryptix comes in with his 3rd in the round and leaves just Neilzino with that AWP. Unfortunately, Robin is in the perfect position, just standing above him. Easy shot, easy round. The working men put themselves on the board, and significantly earlier than FM were able to in the last. So it's still going to be difficult for them. They're still going to be facing off against at least this round of full buy, because Neilzino has a lot of money. The rest of his team going to be buying up. But if they can win this, the working men actually have a chance to string some rounds together.
Yeah, possibly. And you wanted to think, how many of these do they actually need? Well, it's going to come down to what FM have got. Jacob in a bit of trouble. Can he pick up a couple of frags? Well, no, that's a trade. Stanley actually gets one as well. So they get a little bit aggressive with the weapon buy, and it's actually come off for FM, so maybe it's their chance to now reset the working men's money if they can do the same thing. Looks like they are maybe getting a little bit aggressive though, you know, they've already got that advantage, the 4v3, they've got some weapons out of it, they've got actually no upgrade, they weren't able to pick up an AK as of yet, but you know, they've got enough out of this, and I'm not sure pushing too aggressive into the toilets, which is, you know, pretty much a kill shoot. It's a tough spot to be in, and it was going to work out too well for them. But I see them all now still stacking above there. They've got the bomb in there, so got to make sure that they sit on it and don't do anything too silly.
Well, I think that's the reason they've found the bomb instead, and they're just going to be sat there waiting for anybody from the workmen to come and try and take it off them. They've got people covering almost every angle they can need, but it's not going to be enough as Vertigo and Robin come in with a frag apiece. Robin's going to be continuing on the tear. Finds himself a second, drops the flash out, manages to molly Nilzinho out of position, and that's the bomb now in their hand. Nilzinho, the last man left alive with the AWP, going to be completely stuck on the B site, and they have the utility to hold him off of A for a little bit longer even. So, bomb down, 3 versus 1. It's looking nigh on him. Well, it's looking, in my opinion, vaguely impossible for him to find this, just with the weapon he has, with the utility he has, with the positions they're holding and the amount of players that are on their team alive at the moment. I don't know. I think he'd be a little bit silly to go for it, and indeed he is. Vertigo takes him out. And the working men managed to pick up a second round, managed to actually dismantle the economy of FM fairly quickly, which I think is just telling of the fact a couple of those rounds were close, and put themselves in a position to come back into this one strong. 2 rounds already, looking to make it 3 here in round 8.
Yeah, that was definitely save AWP territory, that last round, and the working men clutching victory from the jaws of defeat. I thought they might have thrown it away a bit there by getting pushed a little bit too aggressively, but nice work in the end. They were using the advantage that they had of the players swarming around that bomb to then open up the A main area, and there's Robin managing to pick up a frag fry. He was pretty much spraying through some, I believe, and ended up playing quite a big role in the kill. Jacob's got some attention coming in from Stanley, but he was completely blind. He popped his way up the ladder, and that's going to be another frag. So this is an eco bash, but it could be a fairly cheap eco bash. Chat goes down. If he's the only player that gets felled by Hudge G, no, he's taken 2 weapons out. So nice job from Hudge G. The bomb has been dropped, actually. Vertigo, now he's worried. Hudge G is on a bit of a stormer, trying to get as many as he can. He's got teammates coming in trying to bolster, but he's got 3 already. He's still got the bomb down, 50 seconds left to go, and you wouldn't put it past him maybe bringing this thing home now.
I mean, with Vertigo on the health he's on, I've got to agree with you. If he managed to find the shot there, it would have been great. Unfortunately, he isn't able to, but I do want to comment on his pistol play. I noticed it on Cobble, and it's been shown again here. He is insane on those pistol buys. I don't know what it is, but he just manages to find frag after frag. I mean, on Cobble, probably, what? Well, they had a lot of eco rounds, let's just say that much, or a lot of force rounds with just pistol and armor.
Yeah.
And he was the standout player in those, so it's nice to see him continue that. It's nice to see him do a little bit of economic damage. And it's going to give FM a little bit more of a chance to come back into this, just in terms of economy later in the game.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I can really point to for that is if you're Team AWPer, then you might spend a little more time with a pistol in your hand than normal, but maybe they've put a little more practice into it on the deathmatch, something like that. But it's a big point, and sometimes you'll find that there is one player that can just go and lead the charge when it comes to, say, a pistol versus pistol early stages. I mean, how many times have we seen that the way either an early game or actually the fate of a whole game, we're talking about the start of the second half, has been decided by a pistol round. So it's definitely something that you should think about putting a bit of extra time into. And we've got a minute left to go on the clock, and still nothing really committing from either team. Hudge G with 1 AWP in hand, also with a double AWP set up from Nilzinho. Out towards the mid. Cryptics gets 1 frag on Som. Som just for that though picks up Jacob. Hudge G now into the mid, and he's out in the open, but it doesn't matter as he picked up Cryptics from round about the Pop Dog area. Robin could have the frag on Hudge G if he makes it, and he does with the spray down. He's also got Fry next to him that he's got to be careful of. 3v3 then. 30 seconds left to go on the clock. Need to get a plant if they can, and they do get that plant. Fry though, he is down to 46 points of health after picking up his frag, bringing it back to a 3 versus 2 in favour of FM eSports, and got to try and retake this thing now if they can.
And you got to think, if they wait for everybody to be available, if they enter as one cohesive unit, they're in with a great chance of doing it. Just don't give away any easy frags. At the moment, though, it's going to be difficult for the working men, making sure they hold the correct angles. Just ensuring they do as much damage as possible, and Vertigo going to be doing exactly that. 2 frags already, and now, with less than 10 seconds left, Fry's going to be forced to run away with that AWP. He doesn't have a kit, he doesn't have a chance, and there is Chak still left alive, still hunting him down. And not even going to have to in the end, as the bomb does the job for him. He escapes on 4 points of health, and that one was a little bit crazy towards the end. Vertigo really showing exactly what he can do and putting up numbers with the AWP to bring the round home for the working men. 4-5, and they're back against pistols. This what was looking like a dominant game, now seeming like it might go the other way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're going to pretty much even. And from the way that Trains has played sometimes, you think another 1 or 2 rounds to the working men T side might be enough for him, as Cryptic's able to take down Stanley. And, it seems like we're getting back to what we're seeing in the last map, where the working men just seem to be out-fragging their opponents on more opportunities than not. And, they're just getting these picks. It's not that solid. It just seems to come down to 1v1 battles a little too often. And FM don't want to get drawn into that game. 1, because it's not working, and 2, because it's Train CT side, and you've got to use your angles, you've got to sit in, you've got to protect yourself, and and kind of use the crossfire coming in from your teammates as well as best as possible, and as well as your utility, which I don't think they're doing just yet. But they are on upgraded pistol vest here. Som with an eagle, he's got one. Nilzinho gets a frag as well before the bomb plant does eventually come in. 3v2 though. This is still reclaimable for FM.
It's not impossible, but it's not going to be easy. It is going to be rifles versus pistols, and so the work is cut out for the men on FM eSports. And unfortunately, at the moment, it looks like they're not going to be picking anything up further into the round at all. Robin and Cryptic's coming in with the frags to close that one out, draw things up, and take us to evens. And I mean, FM at the moment, I think maybe a little bit too passive. Just for my liking, a little bit too passive. They're giving a lot of control to the working men. They're not really holding anything off. And by the time the working men have found their way out onto the A site, I mean, I'm not sure if you noticed it there, but I think it might have been Robin. He was just wandering around the A site with no sort of resistance coming out of FM whatsoever, and he was on his own, so that could have been a free frag, or at least a trade.
Yeah, for sure. You don't want to give up that control of that mid area. It's Chak there. He takes a pick on Som, so again, they've softened up that A main. It's it's one area where if you let the T's get control of that, then it's a rage-tastic voyage for the CTs. You've got players swarming all over the shop, and you try and rotate, you try and move somewhere, and there's a stray terrorist that just happens to be there blocking your way. And I like that call you made as well about being aggressive, and that could well be it, as Hudge G takes a pick, and Nilzinho trying to get one as well. Chak, though, nice work from him, and Cryptics makes use of the fire with a good assist from Chak, taking down Nilzinho, and it's another 3 for 2 in favour of working men. Make that 2 for 2. Make it 2 for 1, traded straight back, and they just can't keep any momentum going, as it's going to be a chance for Chak to now come out, get the plant. Stanley's going to step out, he's been spotted, and with a bit of teamwork they bring it home. And the working men now have the advantage, 6-5.
I mean, I don't know what's going wrong. I think it might be a combination of the two, because we did see a player try and get aggressive towards A main that time.
Yep.
We saw him standing on top of the train, seeing what he could do, and unfortunately, what you were talking about before, the fragging power on the working men's side just seems to get the better of him. He stood up there, seeing what he can do, instantly headshot, instantly shut down. And from that point, they're a man down. The working men can take their time, they can figure out what they want to do, and they don't really have to worry, because wherever they push is going to be weak, and I think that's what they're looking for. You can see again, Robin gets extremely aggressive on A early in the round, pushes himself all the way out of main without any sort of support, and still doesn't lose his life for it. He doesn't get punished. And that sets them up, well, that potentially sets them up for doing it again later, and again and again and again, until they find a frag from it, until they start something with it, and manage to push themselves into this game. This time, though, we're going to be seeing a little bit more aggression out of the CTs. Hudge G down in Pop Dog, waiting for anybody at all to peek him as the working men set up. But I don't think they're going to. They seem to be heading that bomb all the way over towards B site, and Robin going to be taking a frag on A. Again, not punished for getting aggressive solo. Manages to start things off for his team, manages to do a great job, and now Chak there to support him, going to be helping even more. Nilzinho unable to hit the shots, and it's up to Hudge G to do something. Finds one, drops the bomb, and it might be just what they need. Jake down next, but he manages to find the frag. Huds should have been watching that angle. And those are their other players, but his teammates be taking care of those, and now they are. Fry with one, Jack down, and now an advantage for FM finally. It looks like they might want to do something in the round, especially with Stanley coming out with performances like that. Finds the shot onto Jacob, leaves Vertigo in a very awkward position indeed.
And does, tough ask. He's going for it though. Fair play to the lad. Maybe he's going to try and get the plant in, hoping someone might have rotated off towards B, and it turns out that wasn't the case. So it comes back to 6-all. That was, let's see, that's 6 rounds on the spin for the working men, I believe it's been. So it's a chance for a reset to come in from them, and that would be disaster for FM, and probably going to result in the working men winning out the half, albeit narrowly. It just seems like things were, again, too easy out in the A main. They're out getting the early pick, and FM have lucky not to be staring down the barrel of a 7-5 after that. It seems like both teams have had a chance where they were narrowly in the advantage and ended up throwing it away, as we've now got another real battle going on in the A main area. Frag's been traded and the advantage is back in for FM.
That's the sort of round I want to see more of. They got aggressive early on, they found the picks as they came out, and they didn't allow them any room without punishment. Left them in a 3v1, easy to pick it up from there. They managed to push themselves ahead, and they managed to take down the working men's economy. They reset them back to pistols and give them an ultimatum of how are they going to be taking this now. I think pistols this round, and then next round is going to be the full buy. And it's just one less round for them, essentially. Again, this game has been extremely close. Even when it's been a 6-round there, you can see from the fact that these guys are back on pistols after one round loss, or 2 round losses rather. Things have been pretty heated between them. This round, though, looking like it should definitely be in favour of FM. Early frags coming their way, early damage coming their way. Just Robin and Jacob left, so Tech 9 on each. No armor, no real hope. So, FM should be taking it to 8 here, winning the half, but not by a huge margin, and that's worrying.
No, this is true, and it all comes down to what the working men have got to show us on their CT side. But with the team that have gone as far as they have, I mean, they were able to come through and win the ESL UK Premiership over the weekend. So they will have had to be well drilled on a lot of these maps to be able to go and succeed, just in case they do come across any action on one. So you'd expect they're going to be half decent on their CT side, and you'd think they'll be wanting to make sure that they keep control of this A area. And Som maybe thinking about getting aggressive. We saw him get a 5k on this last week, I believe it was, on train. Last week we saw him out as Robin gets the frag and taking Som, so that's the trade. But Fry is now trying to do some damage as he gets Robin as well. So that's worked out pretty well, 4 for 3. It is now in favour of FM as they try and bring this thing home to 9-6. Jacob maybe going to be interested to look in the pop. The fire might be telling him that he's got a clear run to at least get in there if he wants to. Vertigo hasn't got his favourite AWP up, so we're not going to see any heroics for that. But AK in hand, he might be looking towards the side to make a pick.
I'm just wondering why we're continuing to see them head towards A. They've figured out that there must be a lot of CTs there. I mean, just the amount of utility and shots coming through. They still decide to continue pushing the issue, and in this case, it's going to be them heading through Ivy into the tunnels, and they're going to be watched. Huds G already pushing in, going to be dropping a flash, which they can avoid, and actually going to be taken down almost instantly, so a beautiful response there. Vertigo coming in. He doesn't have the ult, but as you said, the AK is still going to be a huge issue for FM to deal with, and so it is a 3 versus 3. It is even, and they have a great chance to take this train right now. Didn't really get with the ult, but a little bit caught out of position. 1 man versus 3 at close range. If you miss the first shot, you're dead, and he is. Fry going to have to be the man to step up, and indeed he does. 1 fragment already, a little bit of tag on the next, but Cryptix manages to avoid the death and find Stanley instead. So now it is all on Fry. 1 versus 2. He has to make this work.
Yeah, he really does, and Cryptix, so he gets another one. 2 frags for him. He was taken down to 10 HP and still manages to pick up a frag, actually, which is pretty insane stuff. And in the end, it was him bringing it home, picking up the final 2. So good halves get exchanged, and it's FM taking a very slender lead into their T-side attack. Now for the working men, let's see what they've got here. If they can end up getting this pistol together, should be able to piggyback through, get the next two and take it to 10-8, you would think, unless a bomb plant from FM might bring up a third round force. That's if pistol goes the way of CTs though, and we've still got to see what the plan is. It looks like it's going to be, oh no, I was thinking fast B, but they've slowed it up just a little bit. I think good choice though to go B, hit it en masse, 5 players against at most 2 going to be in there trying to play from long range. You know, the plant's pretty much guaranteed, and if they play it right and don't get too aggressive too quickly, they could probably pick off the rotators as well.
Yeah, and they've got the smokes, they've got the flashes, there's everything they need to get themselves out, so as you were saying, extremely smart choice, exactly where you want to be going, a guaranteed bomb plant, all the good things. And slow, I actually think might favour them in this sense. It's going to mean the working men are a little bit unsure of what's going on. They've not made any noise as of yet. That's just going to be another factor to doubt. And I think we actually saw a nade being thrown over towards the A site there. So maybe even trying to fake them out a little bit. Anyway, they will be spotted now as they head their way out. But Hud's G going to be coming straight in with a frag onto Robin. His teammate making sure the bomb goes down, but taking a lot of damage from the nade there. Fry now on 15 HP, but still going to have that Glock in his hand, still going to have armor, still going to be a dangerous presence. Instead, once more, Hudgy, the man who's been doing so well with pistols today, finds himself a second, but 2 players drop at once, and it is going to be a 3 versus 3 on the retake. Stanley, extremely close, seeing what he can do with the Glock, but going to be taken out by Cryptic. And the bomb gets defused before any more players can have a chance to show their hand. Neil Zinho going to be going down in the finishing moments of the round there. And I'm just wondering why their players weren't on the B site to defend. I mean, there were 2 men up in halls, like, fairly ready, but one was all the way over towards T-spawn. I'm not sure if that was like an attempt to catch off rotators or if that was just a little bit out of position, but it didn't work out well for them in the end because all of the CTs just decided, you know what, they came en masse from one spot, we're going to be doing exactly the same through connector. And a lot of damage done. It's going to be giving them the advantage into this round, which they will be using. Cryptics already finds one with an nade. And just going to be continuing to put damage through. Robin chipping in as well. Cack for the third. Robin coming in with a second. And just like that, it's Fry left with 7. Clean round.
Yeah, and that is Sia from the working men cleaning that one up with a flawless victory for any Mortal Kombat fans out there. And they are probably, well, you say probably going to try and pick up this next one, but they are up against full AK buy. So now this is the trouble though. If you go for this and you don't pick it up against effectively SMGs and 1 FAMAS, then you're in some real trouble, and then suddenly you're losing 4 rounds. So it's the way that the economy has changed up a little bit. Teams play it slightly differently on their T side, and they do try and force just that little bit quicker, but there are times when that can perhaps backfire on you just a little bit if you don't end up picking up that first buy versus buy. But they've done themselves a bit of a favour. They've already got themselves another frag on the board, so 4v5 is going to be, and on CT side it's the worst possible side to be down a man. You've got to worry about what gaps they're leaving, where the rotates could come in, where you might get exposed where you normally wouldn't, that kind of thing. And FM are going to be trying to make that count as they look to move forward. They don't know this, but they've just left Vertigo playing solo on the B site, so they want to attack from there. Vertigo's just got to try and slow up as much as he can, get some information there, and he's down to Spiral, and they found him there. And they are going to drop onto the site now, and you would think we get the plant down. Robin over the other side gets down Neil Zinho, trying to throw misdirection over towards the A, and Huts G, he gets Robin as he tries to go into the rotator. Nice work coming into mid, going to try and do what he can to stop these CTs from getting in, as Jacob makes a frag on Som as well. So Jacob trying to fly pretty much solo in there. Cryptic's nowhere to be found, and I think he's going to save this AK and get out of dodge with 3 remaining FM players left. So going to be looking at 9 all, and still very finely in the balance this second map.
Yeah. A little bit awful actually. I'm wondering if the working men planned that or if that was a little bit of a mistake on their part not to buy into the round. Because it left them a huge disadvantage. I think you touched on it. The SMGs just throw up so many problems on your CT side. You've got to change things. You've got to make things work that you wouldn't necessarily otherwise have to. And that can be difficult to do on the fly, so it is going to mean things are back at evens at 9-9. Fortunately, they have a little bit of money to spend into this round, so we are going to be seeing a buy this time instead. M4's out. Full utility, kits on 3 of the players, and an AWP on Cryptics. It might just be what they need to get themselves back on the board in this half and start things off on the right foot once more.
Yeah, we shall see. That's the plan. Cryptix has got himself up an AWP, so this is the first real chance we get to see what the working men have got on their CT defense against the full buy. And it's going to be interesting. No AWP in the hands of FM just yet as they try and make their way in. All the utility going into the A main, but they drop back now. Cryptix going to try and get to a safe range where he can pick off players with his AK, and Shaq is grabbing Neilzinho straight away as he tries to get up on top. And I think he's already got some information as well for players on top of it. So FM, they're in a position where they're exposed and they're getting picked off one at a time right now. And there's Jack, he's seen player, and he's got a frag as he does take down the Pop Dog guy, and Cryptix is able to get Storm as well. So HudsG, last man standing, 9 HP out towards Electric Box, bomb down. That's going to be tough to retrieve, and the working men in the end held that pretty nicely. Just played defensively, dropped back, and pretty much just absorbed the pressure. Let the FM guys come on, got the picks where they could, and that looked very solid.
I'm just trying to figure out what the plan was from FM in that round. I mean, they put the smokes down, which seemed like it was going to be a fast play towards bomb train on A. Just get the bomb planted and think about what you're going to be doing afterwards, or fall into after plants off the back of the smokes. Instead, they take their time. I know they encountered a man close up, but as soon as he's dealt with, you would have thought the push would come in. They'd try and get the bomb planted while the smokes were still up and take advantage. Instead, they fade, and unfortunately, FM fade with them, just dropping like flies. The workmen doing a great job, and it's going to mean this round again, not quite what they'd like to have. Fry on the AK, but everybody else just running with the pistols. Neilzinho, even just with a Glock and a smoke. It's interesting. A Glock armor with smoke. Not something I'd expect to see coming out too often. I'm wondering if it's a bug, but it does seem to be the weapon he's using. The utility definitely going to help him again. It's going to be a fast hit through the utility. Robin manages to pick one up despite, and Vertigo going to be using a Molotov to his advantage, manages to find Stanley, and leaves Huds as the only man able to respond so far. Neilzinho is still with that Glock, going to be on 9 HP now, and I'm hoping he's looking for a weapon, because it's not going to be doing any damage whatsoever against armored players. He can hit them as much as he likes. They're just not going to be feeling it, and in the end it's down to HudsG. 2 frags already in the round, making it look easy for himself as he finds Shaq. And seeing what he can do against the other 3. Now, they are half health, so there's a little bit of a chance here, but it's not going to be great by any means. They know where the bomb is. They know where the player should be coming from, and they can just launch it. Cryptix doing exactly that with the AWP, takes him out, puts the working men up to 11 rounds, and starts to draw in the end of the game. We're now into the last 9 rounds. FM going to have to get back on the ball extremely soon if they want to be a competing factor in this.
Yeah, no doubt, and it just seems like they are a little bit short on ideas of what they can do, and just going maybe a little bit too slow when they've got the opportunities to attack into the B or the A side. We've seen it in 2 quick rounds, and they're now up against it on the pistols, so no real upgrades aside from HudsG, who I think had some extra cash to play with, and he does. He's still on 3.6 after buying that, so he's going to just have that extra little bit of firepower as they stack up towards site. Jacob getting hammered quite nicely, but against the Glocks, it's just going to be spamming with a spud gun pretty much, and you've got to unleash plenty of bullets or find the face if you want to do any real damage against an armoured up CT. And they are just going in a little slowly, using the flashes to try and bluff them off. That fire is going to stop any kind of potential pushes from coming in. Jacob is actually caught. Shaq also able to get one, and they know now, I think, that the remaining 2 players are over towards the site. Any chance for plant, I think, is going to get cut down very quickly, and it does. Working men take a 12-9. No plant for FM, but they do have enough cash to be putting the buy together this round.
And you can see why they went for what they did in the last round. The working men's economy still not established in the slightest. You can see Jacob had to rebuy down to $550. A couple of other players were in that situation last round, so any frags could have been damning, especially into a gun round like this. For any player that dies, especially if they lose, is going to be stuck without anything to work with. The issue is they didn't manage to find the frags. This round not going to be starting too much differently, as we see Jacob come in with one, and nobody there for response. Fry going to be caught on the Molotov, actually can't fall back quick enough, and loses his life. Chak now coming in, takes down Solomon. It's just a one-sided affair. Neilzinho and Huds, let's see what they can do against the rest. But at least they managed to pick up a frag each before anything more happens, as otherwise it would have been a little bit sad for them. At the moment though, frag's going to be coming in from the working men. Cryptix onto Huds, and Neilzinho now the last man left alive. No utility, just an AK armor, and all the aim he can muster to try and take this one, but he's going to be stuck behind Electric Box in a position he does not want to fight from, being pushed from multiple angles. I'm not having a great time of it. unfortunate for FM, but it's going to be another round in favor of the counter-terrorists and another round closer to victory. Now just 3 away. And with what looks like it might just be a pistol arm or a pistol buy even to stop them from taking that to 2 away.
The two seasoned campaigners for the FM side, Nilzinho and HUDG, couldn't bring it home on that occasion, and they're back to upgraded pistols to see what they can do here. Try maybe to get towards B. Cryptics, with the AWP getting right up aggressive on side, that's going to be very useful information. So he tries to get himself back. Chat got taken down. I think he must have got flashed out towards the main as the push is coming. But they've got plenty of weapons to try and absorb this. Jacob gets one. Chance for a second on the spray down, and he does pick it up as Som grabs Robin. So 3v3 it is as the dust starts to settle. And HUDG, he's taken by Jacob. He can go and pick off the long-standing veteran of Counter-Strike in the UK, Nilzinho and Som. Last 2 players left standing, both of them down to a quarter and a third of their health. As Nilzinho, he gets a frag on Cryptics. Vertigo, his position probably going to be known from the connector. Som has got his eyes on it. 50 seconds left to go.
You can already see excuses coming out in the chat. Nice to see. It is going to be a 1 versus 1, so no real excuses here for either of the players. They're just going to have to take it down to who is better in whatever the situation ends up being, and it might just be Som trying to outplay Vertigo here. He picks up the bomb and is going to be making his way back to the A site, and for a second it looked like that might have worked. It looked like Vertigo's favouring B, but he's going to be keeping himself in a position where he can gain that information. Here's it goes down, knows that it's going to be on the A site, and gets the chance to push in at his leisure. Now all about whether he can find the player in time, whether he even suspects the right angles, and A's a big site, but the gun barrel's going to be spotted, and the frag comes in fairly easily. So another round to the working men, a lot closer than I think it should have been. Just looking at the buys they had, but around, they have the money to come into the next with, and they don't look like they want to be slowing down anytime soon.
No, they sure don't. That's another 5 on the spin for the working men. They won 7 of the 8 possible rounds in this second half, and as you say, they are a train that is rolling. Sorry for the pun. I just kind of slipped out. It's not my fault. As Nilzinho, going back to the good old days of Source, that's a good old-fashioned T-side mid-pick with the AWP as he takes down Robin. So a little bit of extra aggression that you might not normally see. You wouldn't get away with that on a regular basis, but once in a while, say when you're 14-9 down and you need a bit of magic, it comes off for him, and that is some nice stuff. So that's going to be a big help. Yeah, they've readjusted though. They're just leaving Vertigo last man, only man, over towards the B site for the time being. So he's going to be using his utility just to slow things up if the push comes into B. But it looks like they are instead going to go back towards the A. Som gets caught down. He has to try and put out the fire with the smoke before he can push out. But they are out, and they do now have some control. But make sure they don't play too quickly. They let Shaq push through, and he picks up 2 before he's eventually picked up. And there's a second push coming in. What can happen here? Vertigo missed his opportunity there, I think. But it's going to be now Cryptics against 3 players. Same old story. FM probably going to pick this one up, but they've got to watch this reset again.
Yeah, the reset could be deadly. They've got a little bit of economy, so it should be vaguely alright. I mean, you can see the buy coming in here, and there's 2 players that need to equip themselves with AKs, but the rest all going to be sat on, what, 5? Actually, no, that's a lot lower than I thought it was going to be. Okay. Things have changed around. As utility gets rebrought, we see 5 grand, 4 grand, and 3 grand-ish, plus or minus 500, respectively. So a decent amount of 3 players, but probably not enough to eke out a full buy. It'd have to be a little bit of a broken if they do lose this one. At the moment, though, not looking like they're in with too much of a chance of doing so, as it is going to be what I would call a horrible buy from the working men. I mean, they've got an AWP, they've got the Deagles, it's a chance to do something, but it's by no means good, and it's not going to be starting out well either. Cryptics already down, a 4 versus 5 situation for them to deal with, and FM still fully equipped, still with a minute 19 on the clock, looking perfectly ready to do whatever it takes to bring themselves back into this game.
Yeah, sure, that's going to be the plan as Fry manages to take down Jacob. A little questionable as to why he's looking towards that as Robin goes down, so he had the AWP in hand. He's managed to pick one up in the meantime before he sprayed straight down. So it is going to be a round on the board again for FM eSports. 2 straight for them. 14-11 is favour of the working men, and they are now unable to buy anything. So pretty much a full eco coming in from them by the looks of things, apart from Vertigo going for the upgraded Deagle, as is Jacob and Robin.
Yeah, just a couple of pistols, exactly what you'd probably be expecting to see at this stage in the game, but once more, we saw it last round with a little bit more behind it, and it wasn't good enough then. I doubt it's going to be good enough now, and it seems to be the case. FM picking up a couple of frags to start things off, just looking set to continue, and they are indeed going to be, or at least I thought they would be, but Jacob escapes the spray, manages to find one for himself. Cryptics, in the meantime, also finding a frag. So a little bit of damage already done, and a 3 versus 3 situation found for themselves. And with Nil Xeno on the health he's on, if they can catch him out at a good angle with the orb, that's going to be a lot of economy taken away. And it might just turn out to be like fairly important, because at this point it looks like the game could well come down to the wire. 2 AKs in this round though for the working men to try and stop that from happening. And a 2 versus 2 situation maintained. Robin finds one before he goes down and leaves it to Cryptics and Jacob to find the retake. Jacob drops early, but Cryptics still in with a chance. Both players on FM's side extremely low on HP, so if he can get the angles, even without armor, as long as he hits the first shot, this could be very doable indeed. And at the moment, he's just going to be wandering around, looking all over the site and trying to figure out what's going on. But he's heard, he's spotted, he's killed. FM managed to take themselves another round, close the gap until it is just 2 between them. And if this one doesn't go to 30, I'm going to be surprised at this point. It's wonderful to see.
It is, yeah. Got to love a close one, and since we haven't got a second match tonight, then I actually don't even mind a bit of overtime in this one, because these guys are really starting to duke it out, and it's swinging in multiple directions, and we'll have to see how it goes now with the next buy versus buy. The working men able to get the cash together. Fair amount of utility. Aside from Vertigo, no head armor, but against AKs, well, it's one-shot headshot anyway, so not a huge loss on that front, and better off to get yourself just that little bit of extra utility if you can.
I couldn't agree more. I actually dislike seeing CT teams buying up that head armor, even when they have the money, because it is just that $350 every round that, if you save, could mean the difference between, I don't know, for instance, an M4 and a FAMAS in a future round. And to me, that's not a risk worth taking. It's possible it'll damage you if it comes down to pistols, but that doesn't happen often. Let's be honest. At this point, though, we're just going to be seeing FM setting themselves up towards that B site once again. Going to be 2 players defending it, 1 close, 1 from a distance. Robin and Vertigo, and they are going to be ready for anything that comes their way, but it's not going to be coming their way at the moment. Instead, FM throw the smokes, head themselves back over to the A site, and find themselves in a little bit of a pickle as Pop Dog's completely smokes. They have to abandon the fake they were initially going for and head back over to B. It might just have worked as well. Already 1 player down the site. Robin left to do the work, and he's going to be picking up 1, but nothing more coming his way just yet. Does get taken down, but Jacob straight in with a refrag, keeping things favorable for the working men, keeping things on their side while he waits for his team to get in. Cryptic's going to be doing just that, picks up 1 more, and Shaq looking set to find himself the last, takes down Stanley, and sends the working men to match point. 15-12. FM now have to pick up the remaining 3 rounds if they want to be getting anything done whatsoever. Fortunately, they have the money, but it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world. We've seen it throughout the game, and we saw it in that round. When the working men have what they need to work with, when they have all of the tools, essentially, they can make good things happen for themselves.
Yeah, for sure. It's very tough to then break them out of that rhythm, and you see really good stuff from them on the retake that time. Had to make it work, and they did exactly that, and they just seem to be on point for the most part. Opened up very early on by the pick on Nil Xeno, who maybe exposed himself a little bit, going for a 50-50 pick. And when you're second to the punch against a team like the working men in the form they've been in throughout this match, then you're not generally going to come away all that favourably from that position. As you see them switching out towards the B, thinking that might be the direction it's coming from. But it's actually Som who can maybe do some work from the connector, making up a pick. But it's Hudgy who's the first to go down for FM, as the plant is at the back of B. Now they've got to be careful here. Som's down to 23 points of health. He does get 1 before he's traded off, leaving Stanley also able to pick up a frag over towards the B. So now, chance them to all come in, and another B retake coming in, 3v3, so it's doable for either team at this stage. Stanley with the spray down, going huge, pretty much open on the site, and he's got 2. Try to work around and get his 3rd. He's then caught by Robin. That gives Fry the chance to push through, get aggressive, catch Robin, And the round does, in the end, go to FM, and it forces the working men back onto an eco.
They never seem to be able to get comfortable with their economy, Mark. Neither of these teams ever seem to be able to get into a comfortable position where they can survive a good few rounds even if they lose. And it's been a thing throughout the game. As soon as one of them loses 1 or 2 rounds, they're back down to nothing. They're back down to being on the pistols, and it's allowed it to get this close. Now FM going to be looking to capitalize on that, going to be looking to see if they can push it to 14 off the back of it. And then we will see the slog for the last round to see if the workmen are going to be finishing off here, or if FM are going to be forcing it into overtime and giving themselves a little bit of a second chance. This round, though, I think we already know the direction of. It should just be FM taking it fairly easily, and they're going to be heading out of Ivy into what is essentially open tunnels, giving themselves a lot of room to move around, a lot of positional control, and a lot of chance to find the frags. Jacob should be alert to that position. He's going to have beautiful trigger control, doesn't decide to peek out, doesn't want to do anything risky, to find himself 1 as a result of that. Unfortunately, 1's not enough. There's still going to be 4 players alive, and Vertigo has only a USP to deal with them with, and is going to be dealt with swiftly by a flying Tech 9 headshot. Beautiful way to close out the round. Beautiful way to take it to round number 30. The working men now know they need to close this out, but they're not going to have all the tools they need, I don't think.
No, they are not. Swag 7 up. CZ as well on Cryptic, so we shall have to see. Maybe if they get a little bit tricky with some of these scrub weapons, maybe get up close, maybe it's an aggressive push that they're not expecting through mid or something like that, then maybe, but you would expect for the most part this is going to go into the direction of FM, and we might well be seeing some overtime. With an overtime, it's maybe going to deal with that issue they've been having of building the bankroll, well, starting with 10k, yeah, possibly. So we'll have to just see how this all ends up panning out, but you know, in that sort of situation you can pretty much keep on buying through the overtimes, and we'll just come down to which team do more with it. Could maybe argue the working men. They've got money on their side as well, and they can keep on getting that utility that they need. But we'll have to see how this unfolds, and it's not over yet as well. A minute left to go in this round. There's still 4 CTs left alive to try and bring this one home for the working men, make it 2-0 in this UK Masters action, as we're seeing FM looking to stack up towards a B again.
Well, we've seen some huge plays on the B, not necessarily from Vertigo so much, but Robin. He is a player I wanted to mention. He's been doing a great job here. And so this could be the round where his shots come in the most crucial. Finds 2 through the smoke to start things off and puts the working men back into control. But Vertigo going to be dropped straight away, taking it back to Neil Zinho with another. Takes out Cryptics and suddenly leaves the working men at a disadvantage. Robin going to be taken out as well. And it's all on Jacob. Unfortunately, it's hard to hold up the weight on your shoulders when your head has been blown clean off. So FM take the round, take it to overtime, and we're going to get to see how this works. And you were saying the working men with the money might be able to do a little bit more just due to utility use and things like that. I want to see how FM's momentum carries into this half. Both of them, having trouble with their economy. Both of them, once they get some rounds, seem to be able to put some pretty good runs together. And obviously overtime's not that long. So if FM can take what they've been using in the past couple of rounds to find themselves success, and just keep putting it up, we could see them do some damage here at least, if not actually take this map.
Yeah, very interesting call. You see Vertigo, he's got a swag 7, so he's going to try and get up close and personal in this B. The working men starting on CT side. Going to be burst to 4, wins this overtime. They're getting ready, and that Molotov some maybe going to slow up that push into main, and it does. So no chance for the working men to save their utility just a little bit, and they can use that when the rush actually does come. Cryptic's up on the side, so you know, no real opportunity for him to get anyone at this stage, but you never know, that could change very soon. And they're now thinking about where they want to attack, could maybe switch it up towards B now. A couple of players out towards side, so Cryptic's and Jacob the AWP from range, and then the rifle from close. You know, it's pretty much nigh on impossible to get inside with the way that they're holding out, especially if Jacob makes the pick, but he doesn't. Maybe this is a chance now for Cryptics. Well, they spot him. Yes, they do. And Huds is able to pick him up as well. So, that side play, in theory, could have worked out really well, but in practice, not so much. And they've got to deal with it. But Robin with the spray down, and he's switching to a pistol, trying to do what he can, and isn't able to add anything else to it. So, Nilzinho and Som against Vertigo, who's got the swag 7. This range, you can't do anything with that, surely.
I mean, he'd have to be extremely lucky, but they are going to be watching it. So as soon as he peeks out, I'm assuming death. And indeed it is. As you saw, he did take the shot. He managed to land one, but when you're dealing 13 damage a go, and it's a weapon that takes that long to recock and get the next shot off, you're not going to be having too much fun. And I mean, again, I want to give credit to Robin for that round. I mean, they didn't win it, but he managed to find 3 frags, and the spray down was absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, couldn't switch out in time, but I don't know, he's made a difference in a fair few rounds for his team so far. I assume he's going to be looking to continue with more of the same. It's just if he gets that chance. At the moment, it's not going to be him where the T's are going. Vertigo, the man on B, watching with the AWP to see what comes his way, and going to have to change up his position as a result of the smokes. I think Joe now getting a little bit less than confident when he realizes the angles they could exploit to take him down. Instead, just going to be falling between the trains. Station comes his way and misses the first shot onto HUD G. This is going to be awkward because it's going to mean all of the working men rotate themselves over towards the B site. Sure that this take's coming in, but the bomb's not committed anywhere yet and is actually going to be heading out towards that A site. If they've got the utility, smoke off connector, actually molly off connector, stop them from getting back in and get that bomb down without too much hassle. I don't know, the retake could still come in though. It's a 5 versus 3. They have the kits, they have the nades. The working men still with a chance in this round, going to be looking to see what they can do. Fry starts to on instantly before Stanley T can have his say. 2 kills in a row, 2 more to find for him. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, it is. Rope-a-dope around the train between Cryptics and Stanley, who's now dropped out. Going to get himself the bomb, which he now has in his hands, ready to do some damage. 30 seconds left to go. Vertigo with the AWP as well, so the second that Stanley steps out into the main, he's going to be into the crosshairs of Vertigo, who does pick it up, and it then trades straight back. So 16 all it is. 3rd round of this overtime. 3 more rounds needed for whichever team wants to bring this one home. Otherwise, we are going to see overtimes until a winner is decided. So maybe this will draw it out just a little bit longer. So no major for us just yet. Those of you that are watching this one, thanks for sticking with us. It's been great to have you throughout this ride, and good to see some UK Counter-Strike and some competitive UK Counter-Strike as well. And close games like this one are an absolute joy.
I mean, that's some of my favourite things in the world, honestly. One-sided games are absolutely awful to watch. Games like this are why... I think this is why people watch Counter-Strike. You know, you get to see the 2 teams slogging it out, seeing what they can get done, and just wait for one of them to break. That's the moment everyone's looking for. One team to break, the other team to take that step ahead and just try and run with it. Problem is, if they trip, it could all crumble down just as easily as it started. This round, looking like it's going to be FM towards the A site. There are 3 CTs there, and there are actually 3 CTs extremely close to their position. Cryptic's watching exactly where they're going to be coming from. He's got the angle on Ivy. He is ready. But the flash is going to be good. Actually, a little bit too good. Flashes a couple of T's out and gives him a chance to reposition. Manages to pick up 2 off the back of it to the 1 of Stanley T, but Neil Zenio comes in, AWP in hand, picks up 2 more and gives it back to FM. Robin now, the man that I was talking about earlier for making differences, going to be finding himself at least 1 frag. And it's going to be up to him to find the remaining 2 now as well, as Vertigo has dropped. Jumping through, gets spotted by RG, but doesn't lose his life just yet. Still definitely in with a chance. Manages to find 1, manages to find the 2nd on the 90-degree turn for a 3K in the round. And to give the working men the lead heading into the second half of overtime. And what a play to finish that one off.
Jesus, Robin, good stuff. Bought himself the 30 bomb after those frags in that round, 32 and 25, leading the charge for the working men, and I would say that position is pretty well deserved. The way that he's been putting his plays together, really strong stuff, and just collecting frags in bunches, especially on the CT side. Hasn't always worked out for the team, but just putting up those numbers is a great thing. And oh, someone's got tagged there. That was Chak. I don't know if that came in from a teammate or what the deal was, but the working men back on their T side. They did pretty well in the end, but it took them a while to get underway. I think it might have been 5 or 6 rounds going on the spin towards FM eSports before the working men did exactly the same thing, and at one point did take the lead on T side, so we're going to have to watch what they've got. Not a whole lot of time to put their plays together, but 10k start money in this overtime, so they've got the cash to be buying straight off the bat. And Som, he got a 5k last week, I think it was, and there's a nice little highlight clip on the UK Masters Twitter page of that. It might have been 2 weeks ago, actually. That starts off with just the one to begin with, and he'll take that advantage for FM as far as numbers go, with 45 seconds left to go on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, that thrusts the decision-making right back into the hands of the working men. They've now got to figure out where they're going, and at the moment, it looks like that's going to be the A site. We see smoke starting to come over. We see players in main and in Pop Dog, and 30 seconds left on the clock. They're going to have to be quick about it. Vertigo jumping across, narrowly missing out on losing his life to Som, is going to be giving them at least those 4 men they currently have up as they head towards the site, and it's good. Well, I was going to say it's going to be easy for them to get there, as they seem to be all the way there already, but instead we see frags starting to come in. Som already with 3 in the round, HudsG picking up 1 as well, until it is just Vertigo left. He's going to be going for the bomb farm, but they are going to be encroaching fast and ready to take it down as soon as it's over, and actually he still manages to pick up an extra one. That shouldn't happen, but it's a nice little last hurrah from him, you know? Manages to find himself that extra frag, manages to give himself at least something to leave the round happy with, as we are going to be seeing this game go back to evens, I think.
Yeah, exactly right. 17 all in this overtime. So, in order to bring this thing home, one of these teams needs to pick up both of the remaining rounds in this overtime. Best of 6. 4 will end up bringing this thing home. I see money not going to be an issue at this stage. Still 2.5 there, apart from Vertigo, who's gone full buy to get up his AWP for this T side. So that could be a bit of an issue if they don't get a bomb plant, something they've got to worry about. In such a short overtime, you don't have much chance to build up loss bonus. And there goes Cryptix straight off the bat to Neilzinho. Maybe that'll be some half-decent information for Vertigo as to where he can look to try and make a pick and level that thing back up. But I don't think there's any interest to challenge just yet. Working man's going to wait for a few of these smokes to clear. Cat coming to join the effort as well. So no misdirection coming in. That free player that you might put out towards the A to try and distract kind of gets lost. It's not a luxury you can afford when you end up losing out on the early pick. Stanley misses the chance on Jacob, but does in the end. And now he's going aggro. He's taken down by Chak, but it's 4 versus 3 in favour of FM. Make that 3 versus 3. As Vertigo with his AWP is able to get one, but Fry with the double, taking down Robin and Chak, leaving Vertigo last man standing against 3 up top. And I think Neilzinho might already have his number, and he does. FM 18-17, 1 round away from victory.
I mean, it's a bit of a role reversal now, isn't it? We saw FM fighting for their chance in overtime before, just a few rounds ago. Now it's going to be the working men in that same situation, and they're not going to have the most ideal buy going into it. You do see 4 players with everything they need, but Vertigo, you were talking about him investing into the AWP last round and spending the majority of his money on it. Going to be left with just a deagle and a couple of nades. So definitely not what they want. They're going to be up against a fully equipped CT team, everything they could want on their side, and they're going to have to make a huge play here to win. I'm just wondering how it's going to be going initially. Stanley, the man on the B side at the moment, waiting to see what might come his way. Backed up by Neilzinho with the AWP, so if they do decide to take the bomb down there fast, there is at least going to be a couple of CTs ready to slow them down, find a couple of frags, and weaken the team for the retake. But at the moment, again, slowing things down. I'm hoping to see them use a decent amount of utility before they decide to push, and they're going to be doing just that. Vertigo even dropping the smoke in case the molly, but I think it bounced over it, so he's going to be in a bad position. Like just to that. Fortunately, backed up by Chak and Jacob, finding themselves a couple of frags apiece over on the A site. Until it is just HudsG and Neilzinho left to try and figure the rest of this round out, and they're going to have a tough task ahead of them. As it is going to be 4 players to pick up between the 2 of them. No frags in the round for either of them yet, and Neilzinho already dropped, so HudsG now left with an impossible task. And going to be taken down quickly. A second overtime incoming. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? Second overtime. Wonderful.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially after the way that things panned through last time around. In the first map, I mean, the kind of form that the working men were breezing through that, you just didn't think it was going to be quite this competitive. But now, FM, to be fair to them, on this map, have managed to dig in and have done some pretty good stuff. So let's see how it goes then. Second overtime, the working men this time on the T side. Now, if they can maybe get themselves a second round here, that's going to help. And they're getting aggressive here, FM. And maybe if Jacob had whipped out his AK, could have had an opportunity. Being sent as HudsG with a frag. And they keep on trying to push and hammer this thing home. And managed to drop the bomb this time.
Yeah, just going to be more frags coming in. HudG doing a great job this round so far. 2 frags for him. Stanley with 1. And the advantage firmly gained. So I'm going to be waiting up in B-halls as well. Manages to pick up cryptics. So the working men at a huge disadvantage. Vertigo left, crawling his way through sight with a bomb in hand, just hoping he can find himself something, but not going to be given the chance just yet. Almost got the shot on HudG. Given a second chance at it, but can't quite hit it. Instead, forced to go spry. But not going to be living long enough to see any more than that. Finds one, drops the first round in second overtime. It goes to FM eSports, and if they can find one more here, their T side was looking relatively strong. We might see them pick it up now.
FM can really turn the screw, bring this thing home, and get the first 3 rounds of this overtime. Then it's going to give them all of the opportunities going into the second half. But HudG maybe thinking about push-ups, the ladder. Oh, I'm kind of glad he didn't. I'd be feeling for it. He catches the fire and has to drop out and only loses 1 point of health from that, just 1 tick. So not too bad all in all, but that is a horrible position to be jumping on when you can see the X-ray and you can see the players encircling above you. It's like sharks, but the other way around. That's a terrible reference, I'm sorry, it just kind of slipped out, but...
It's like a Sharknado, it's fine.
Yes, exactly.
Everybody can imagine that image. Anyway, we are going to be back into the game now, moving away from one of the best movies of all time, in my opinion. With a minute left on the clock and the working men still with 5 players alive, looking to make a hit onto this A site work. They're going to have a little bit of opposition as Som is going to be up close and personal initially, but can't quite find it. Instead, it's going to be HudG. Finds himself one, looking to see if he can get any more, and so many players just trapped behind the electric box, unable to move forward. Finally, James finds an opening, but could be given a battle right away. Manages to win that one. Cryptic winning his as well, but Fry coming in from behind. And Som already established up at the top side, going to be covering off that bomb and leaving Jacob in almost an impossible situation. Finds himself one, but 2 more left to get, and Stanley T going to be coming in at the perfect angle to shut him down if he spots it. Indeed he does. The shots ring out, and he takes FM to 20 rounds to 18. 2 rounds now won on their CT side. If they can take this third, they're in a great position. If they can't, they're still in a good position. We've seen them on the T side. They did a good job of it. I don't know. It's looking like we might see them be able to close it out here.
Yeah, you'd think so, because that round from the working men just felt a bit like an early round we saw from FM, where they got themselves the mid control, but then had no real ideas from there and just got picked off. And time for it again. It's Vertigo again down onto the Deagle. Now he's had to after his more expensive buys for the AWP. And they're going to get the advantage, but retake is still possible as Neil Zinio takes down Cryptics. Got one up close, and that's HudG going down, but Fry and Neil Zinio managing to pick up frag, so it's back in favour of FM. And there's Stanley grabbing Robin, who tries to get aggressive in the pop dog. It doesn't pan out, and Fry, I don't know what information he had there, but he pulls off a nice little frag, taking down Jacob, and it is going to be all 3 of the first rounds of this second overtime going to FM, 21-18. 1 solitary round out of these next 3 on their T side, and they brought this thing home and made it 1 map all in the UK Masters. So let's see what they got.
Oh, I mean, I'd hope they have something here. I'd really hope they have something here. If they manage to lose all 3 of these and we see it go to a 3rd overtime, I am going to be shocked. But shocking things have happened tonight. We've seen a lot of crazy stuff. And to be honest, I'd be refreshed a little bit more. It wouldn't bother me too much. So let's get right into this one. We're going to be seeing them coming out initially. Everything they need brought up on both teams, and Vertigo going for the Mag 7 again. We saw it in the last overtime. He had all the money in the world, decided to go with the little pump action shotgun. Interesting choice. But could be useful only if they come to him, only if it's going to be close range, and at the moment it looks like that's not the case whatsoever. The majority of the focus over towards Ivy, with one player looking like he might be trying to push into A main. With only Som in a position where Vertigo could take advantage, and that could actually end up being quite important. If he's only got the Mag 7 and they manage to take A site, the retake not going to be too effective from him, or at least he's not going to be too effective on the retake unless, I don't know, unless he can find some godly angle that nobody knows about yet. Either way, it does look like we are going to be seeing the push into the A site coming in initially, with 3 players making their way down. Neil Zinio giving a little bit of support from behind. The rest of them hoping they can make this work, but there are going to be players watching them. You've got Shaq through the smoke and Cryptics through the other side. Actually going to be 2 smokes to deal with, and they're heading up towards the B side at this point, but they get distracted and Shaq's managed to mop up 2 off the back of it. Vertigo going to be managing to put the Mag 7 into use as well until it is a 2 versus 5 situation. He has an AK in his hand, the bomb's heading down to site, but HUD is going to be surrounded on his own. Both players trying to encroach, trying to find him. Dodges the flash, going to be finding 1, but can he take the second? At the moment, I don't even think he knows he exists. And that's going to be Robin with a free frag, so... FM, first round not looking like it's going their way, and indeed it's not. Jacob finishes it off. Gives the working men a little bit of a chance, but you got to remember there's 2 more rounds left and they only have to pick up 1. As well as that, they're on the T side. Economy not going to be as much of an issue as it might be if we saw the roles reverse here, if we saw them playing the CT half, as they should be able to buy up at least something into most of these rounds. I mean, the next one's going to be a little bit worrying if they manage to lose this one as well, but it could be something good. And actually, I didn't even notice until now, Mark. There's an auto sniper on the board. Vertigo switching out the Mag 7 for something a little bit more damaging.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I see why he's going for the Swag 7. Make it an economical buy as he's going to try and channel Get right now with the auto sniper in hand. You know, Neilzinho has some hopping into the site a bit randomly, really, against 3 or 4 players for the working men who are still up. I'd have been tempted to have saved the AWP if it came down to that final round, because we've seen it with Vertigo. When he's got squeezed, he's been stuck and having to scrub for that final round. So maybe something they could have thought about is save the AWP and live to fight another day. But it's Jacob on the frag. Stanley tries straight back. Let's see. Maybe we'll see the rotate coming in from that auto sniper from Vertigo. He needs to get in a position to make it work, though, as FM have the advantage 4-3, make it 4-2. Bomb plant going down in the A site. You know, Vertigo needs to get that thing range, and that's exactly where he's going. Robin gets aggressive, and he takes 1, but he's down to low HP. 12 points of health, in fact. That he's going to be easy to find, and that AWP shot from HUD was massive overkill. Vertigo, last man standing against an AWP of HUD, low HP, and he's trying to get in close with the auto sniper. That's not the weapon for that Vertigo, and he is taken down. So FM eSports take the second map and bring it to 1-1 in the map series.